War is decided by the men who make the calls. These 10 commanders made choices that sealed the fate of thousands. From miscalculations to pure arrogance, these decisions turned battles into slaughterhouses. This is the countdown of the worst command decisions in World War II history. Number 10. Operation Market Garden Field. Marshal Bernard Montgomery promised to end the war by Christmas 1944. His plan was bold. Drop 35,000 paratroopers behind German lines in Holland. Seize 9 bridges in a single day. Rush armored columns 60 miles through enemy territory to Germany. Every intelligence report screamed danger. 2 SS Panzer divisions were resting near Arnhem. The radios given to paratroopers could not reach aircraft or ground forces. The single highway leading north was called Hell's Highway for good reason. Montgomery ignored every warning, but this is where things went wrong. Paratroopers landed miles from their objectives. Germans seized the battle plans from a dead officer. British armor got stuck on the narrow road. The situation spun out of control in seconds. At Arnhem Bridge, 10,000 paratroopers were surrounded. Only 2,400 escaped. The operation failed in 9 days. Over 17,000 Allied soldiers were killed, wounded, or captured. The war did not end by Christmas. Number 9. Hitler's stand-fast order at Stalingrad. General Friedrich Paulus wanted to break out of Stalingrad in November 1942. The Soviet trap was closing. His 6th Army could still fight its way west. Hermann Goering promised he could supply 300,000 men by air. He could not. Hitler ordered Paulus to hold the city at all costs. Winter came hard. German soldiers froze and starved. Soviet artillery pounded them day and night. Supply planes were shot down by the dozens. Goering's Luftwaffe delivered only a fraction of what was needed. Then came the mistake that doomed the entire army. Hitler refused every request to retreat. He called it a fortress. It was a tomb. On February 2, 1945, Paulus surrendered. Of the 300,000 Germans encircled, 100,000 were already dead. Another 90,000 marched into Soviet captivity. Only 6,000 ever returned home. The disaster shattered German morale forever. Number 9 shows how stubbornness can destroy an army in the frozen ruins of a single city. Number 8. MacArthur ignores warnings. Before Pearl Harbor, General Douglas MacArthur commanded all U.S. forces in the Philippines. On December 7, 1941, he learned of the Pearl Harbor attack. Japan had struck American forces. War had begun. His own Air Force sat parked on Clark and Iba airfields. 18 B-17 bombers and over 100 P-40 fighters were lined up in perfect rows. MacArthur received clear orders. Get those planes in the air. Disperse them. Strike Japanese bases in Taiwan. For 9 hours, he did nothing. What happened next stunned every commander watching. At 12:35 p.m., Japanese bombers arrived over Clark Field. American planes were still on the ground. One wave was all it took. In 30 minutes, the Japanese destroyed 18 B-17s and 53 P-40s. American air power in the Philippines was annihilated in a single attack. MacArthur had lost the Philippines before the ground war even started. Thousands of American soldiers would pay the price for those 9 hours of paralysis. Number 7. Japanese decision to attack Pearl Harbor. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto warned Japan's leaders. Attacking America was madness. He had studied at Harvard. He knew American industrial might. Japan could win battles for 6 months, maybe a year. Then America's factories would bury Japan in ships and planes. The Japanese army did not care. They wanted Southeast Asian oil and resources. America stood in the way. They believed one devastating blow would break American will. Yamamoto was ordered to plan the attack. He gave them Pearl Harbor. On December 7, 1941, Japanese carriers struck. They sank or damaged 18 ships. They killed 2,403 Americans. It was a tactical masterpiece. But the aftermath changed everything. The attack unified America instantly. Isolationism died that morning. Factories went to 24-hour shifts. Millions volunteered. From tactical victory to strategic disaster in seconds. Japan won a battle, but guaranteed its own destruction. Yamamoto was right. Japan won for 6 months. Then America's industrial tsunami drowned them. The decision to attack Pearl Harbor was Japan's death sentence. Number 6. Hitler's Stalingrad obsession. Hitler could have bypassed Stalingrad in summer 1942. The city had symbolic value because it bore Stalin's name. Militarily, it meant little. Germany needed the Caucasus oil fields to the south. Stalingrad was a detour. Hitler became obsessed. He split his forces. Half went for oil. Half went for the city. Both groups became too weak to succeed at either objective. The Battle of Stalingrad turned into urban hell. Every building became a fortress. Every street cost hundreds of lives. The Soviets fed reinforcements across the Volga River every night. This was the moment Germany's fate was sealed. While Germans bled inside Stalingrad, the Soviets massed for a counterattack. On November 19, 1942, they struck north and south of the city. Within days, 300,000 Germans were trapped. Hitler's obsession with a name on a map cost him an entire army. Stalingrad broke the Wehrmacht's back. Germany would retreat for the rest of the war. The tragedy forced commanders to rethink everything about Hitler's interference in military decisions. Number 5. Mounting the Doolittle Raid. America needed a morale boost after Pearl Harbor. Colonel James Doolittle proposed launching Army bombers from an aircraft carrier. They would bomb Tokyo, then fly to China. It was nearly suicidal. B-25 bombers were never designed for carrier operations. The range was barely sufficient. If discovered early, the carrier and all 16 planes would be lost. Admiral William Halsey approved it. On April 18, 1942, 16 B-25s launched from USS Hornet. They bombed Tokyo and other cities. Damage was minimal. All 16 planes were lost. Then came the disaster no one predicted. The bombers crash-landed in China. Japanese forces in China launched a massive retaliation. They hunted for the crashed airmen and anyone who helped them. The Japanese killed tens of thousands of Chinese civilians in revenge. Some estimates reach much higher. Entire villages were destroyed. Anyone suspected of aiding the Americans was executed. 3 captured Doolittle raiders were executed. Another died in captivity. America got headlines. China paid in blood. Number 5 is a reminder that every military action has consequences far beyond the battlefield. Historians still debate whether the strategic value justified the human cost. Number 4. Churchill sends Force Z to Singapore. Prime Minister Winston Churchill wanted to deter Japanese aggression in December 1941. He sent 2 capital ships to Singapore. HMS Prince of Wales was Britain's newest battleship. HMS Repulse was a World War I battlecruiser. Neither had adequate air cover. Churchill believed big guns would intimidate Japan. Admiral Tom Phillips commanded Force Z. He had no aircraft carrier. The nearest friendly airfield was hours away. On December 8th, Japan invaded Malaya. Phillips sailed north to attack invasion convoys. He maintained radio silence. He requested no air cover. This was the moment the ship's fate was sealed. On December 10th, Japanese torpedo bombers found Force Z in open water. 85 aircraft attacked in waves. The hull split, and the end came fast. Prince of Wales took 6 torpedoes and a bomb. Repulse dodged 19 torpedoes before one jammed her rudder. Then 4 more torpedoes struck. Both ships sank. 840 men died, including Admiral Phillips. It was the first time aircraft alone sank capital ships underway in open water. Singapore fell 10 weeks later. Commanders never repeated this mistake again. The age of the battleship was over. Number 3. Hitler declares war on America. Adolf Hitler did not have to declare war on the United States. After Pearl Harbor, America was focused on Japan. Germany and America were not at war. Hitler's treaty with Japan required him to help only if Japan was attacked first. Japan was the aggressor. Hitler owed them nothing. On December 11, 1941, Hitler declared war on America anyway. He believed America was weak and distracted. He thought Japan would crush them in the Pacific. He wanted to support his ally. What happened next changed the entire war. America immediately shifted massive resources to Europe. Lend-Lease aid poured into Britain and the Soviet Union. American factories built ships faster than U-boats could sink them. Millions of fresh soldiers crossed the Atlantic. Number 3 shows how one signature can lose a war. Hitler had been fighting Britain and the Soviet Union. Now he added the world's largest industrial power. Germany could not match American production. By 1944, American bombers darkened German skies. D-Day put American boots on French soil. Hitler's declaration of war gave Roosevelt the justification to destroy Germany first. It was strategic suicide wrapped in arrogance. Number 2. Operation Barbarossa. Launched too late, Adolf Hitler planned to invade the Soviet Union in May 1941. Invading Russia requires finishing before winter. Napoleon had learned that lesson. Hitler's generals knew it too. Then Mussolini invaded Greece and failed. Hitler had to rescue his ally. The Balkans campaign delayed everything. Operation Barbarossa finally launched on June 22, 1941. That gave Germany 5 months before winter. It was not enough. German forces advanced hundreds of miles. They encircled entire Soviet armies. Victory seemed certain, but then the calendar became the enemy. October brought rain. Roads turned to mud. Tanks and trucks got stuck. November brought snow and cold. German soldiers wore summer uniforms. They had no winter clothing. Tanks would not start. Oil froze. Frostbite crippled thousands. The advance stopped 20 miles from Moscow. Winter delivered the final blow. The Soviets counterattacked in December with fresh troops from the east. Hitler's 5-week delay in spring cost Germany the entire war. If Barbarossa had launched in May, Moscow might have fallen before winter. Number 2 proves that in war, timing is everything. Number 1. Ordering the assault on Iwo Jima and Okinawa, American commanders faced an impossible choice in 1945. Invading Japan would cost millions of lives. But first came the island stepping stones. Iwo Jima and Okinawa showed exactly how brutal the final invasion would be. Iwo Jima was 8 square miles of volcanic rock. The battle lasted 36 days. 600 to 1,800 Americans died. 19,000 more were wounded. Nearly all 21,000 Japanese defenders fought to the death. Okinawa was even worse. 82 days of fighting killed 12,500 Americans and wounded 38,000 more. Over 100,000 Japanese soldiers died. Kamikaze attacks sank 36 ships and damaged 300 more. Then came the calculations that changed history. Military planners estimated the invasion of mainland Japan would kill 500,000 to over 1 million Americans. Japanese military and civilian casualties could reach 10 million. Every man, woman, and child was being trained to resist. The crew had seconds to decide the fate of the world. President Harry Truman authorized the atomic bombs. Hiroshima on August 6th, Nagasaki on August 9th. Japan surrendered on August 15th, 1945. The bombs killed over 200,000 people. The planned invasion would have killed millions more. Truman chose atomic fire over conventional slaughter. Was it the worst decision or the least terrible option? That debate continues 80 years later. But the path that led there, through Iwo Jima and Okinawa, showed commanders exactly what invading Japan would cost. Number 1 reminds us that sometimes every choice leads to tragedy.